All right. So I have no idea what happened, but we had some technical difficulties. So we are back live. Hopefully, you can join us. But I am going to cover today is basically kind of building a database that generates 5 to 8 referral leads a week. And then also, we're going to cover Smart Week. And then we're also going to cover some dialogues of essentially on how to reach out to your sphere of influence. So, thanks a lot for joining me. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is I'm coming to you live here with a platform called StreamYard. So if you want to make any comments and ask any questions or any of that type of stuff, you just need to go to, I think it's StreamYard /Facebook or something like that in order for me to know who the comment's coming from. I mean, you'll see it actually on Facebook, but since I'm coming from a different platform, you're not necessarily going to see that. So before we get started here, I got a couple things I need to pull up, and then we'll get started. So again, thanks a lot for joining me. Let's see here. All right. All right. Okay. So I am sharing my PowerPoint presentation, so I'll be going through some slides on this. So let's go ahead and get started. Kind of one of the things that I want to kind of preface this with is, always trying to bring your attention to a problem that most real estate agents have in the industry. I've been doing this for almost 25 years. I've been coaching, mentoring, training real estate agents for about 14 years. And one of the major things that a real estate agent never addresses or doesn't do it at a very high level is, staying in touch with your database like you should be. The number one most common marketing mistake of professional real estate agents is not communicating with their customers, past clients, prospective clients, and the people that they meet regularly. Also, too, these people, meaning your database, your sphere of influence, the people that you help buy purchase a home, the people that you're close to, they all want to know and want to hear from you, and they need your ongoing expertise. So I'm not going to cover marketing here today, but what I am going to cover is how to actually put this database together. And again, if you haven't done this, you've been in the business for 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. The best time to start on putting together a database always is now. So let's just kind of dive in here and take a look at the slides. And again, if you have any questions as they come up, please feel free to type them in. All right, so sphere of influence. First thing is, for when you're looking at sphere of influence and who's a good candidate for your sphere of influence, one is people that have a connection to you. It could be family. I always look at it as in, like, if you look at a bullseye and you got that center and then you kind of work your way out from the center, you've got family, friends. We're involved in activities. We're involved in churches. We're coaching kids. We were involved in the Kiwanis Club, Boy Scouts. You go to funerals, you go to events, you're running into people all the time. And it's just having that constant awareness of making sure that you make a really good connection with that person so that you can then get the information that you need in order to put them into your sphere of influence. Then the second thing is they have to have a potential to refer. And what I mean by this, more so everybody who's anybody has a potential to refer. There's not a human, well, maybe now because we're in COVID-19 and a lot of people are locked down, and in some of the cities that we're in, people are not able to connect like they used to. But for the most part, in a 365 calendar year, somebody always runs into somebody runs into somebody. Yeah, that's right. That is thinking about buying or selling. And the only thing is, so everybody that is going to be in your database has a potential to refer. Now, there are people that have more of a potential to refer, and that it could be that they're in the human resources at their job and they're dealing with people moving and coming in and, you know, making life changes and that type of stuff. I think that painters, electricians, all of those, all the trades have higher potential to refer you, because typically when somebody needs something fixed in their house or done to their home, it's because they're getting ready to sell it. So, and then the third thing for candidates for your sphere of influence is data. You've got to have all the data. So let's jump into that real quick. So when you look at data, you're looking at names, phone numbers, email addresses, that type of stuff. But when you go back to that potential to refer, and you really don't have any idea. I mean, a lot, you know, some people, you know, they are brand new to a city. And if you are brand new to a city and you don't have a very big database, the one thing I am going to suggest to you is that you jump on to our webinar tomorrow, where we're going to have a good friend of mine, Jared Lapelgus, who actually moved from Vancouver, Washington down to Winter Haven. I know you're going to have to look this up on a map, but Winter Haven, Florida, which actually is probably in the center of the map of the state of Florida. But anyhow, great guy, but he basically went from a place where he had a great database to a place where he had no database. And so if you are in that situation where you don't have a database, you need to tune in and listen to how Jared went to top producing status in Winter Haven, Florida in 2 years by cold calling. And he's got some great dialogues and techniques on being able to do that. So on the Master Real Estate Academy private page, I have 3 pages of basically services, you know, doctors, lawyers, electricians, people that you know, or that at least you should know, that should be in your database, that you should be connecting with, you should be marketing to on a regular basis. So these pages here, if you happen to need these, are actually on the site and you can get there by going to MREAFacebook.com. Again, that's MREAFacebook.com. And then it's a private page, so I have to let you in. This is in the file side of things. So if you guys need that too. So, and then what you're going to do with this is you're going to find out how many people do you know that you could contact in each category. So how many plumbers, how many electricians, you know, and I always tell people when I'm coaching them to start with your family, right? So if you grew up in an area, you're going your family and friends, and then obviously who their family and friends are. And then you're going out as in, you know, into the more outward you go, the less connection you're going to have with somebody, but doesn't mean that they're not going to have the potential to be able to refer you. So anyhow, and then the next thing you're going to do is, you know, you're going to figure out how many of those people should be in your sphere of influence. And then, you know, if you want to, you can total it up. But again, if you have more questions about those sheets, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. I'm going to do a shameless plug here in a little bit where I'll give you my contact information. So the ingredients is data, right? So you need to have lots of data. What kind of data? You need to have again, this is so basic, okay? So you need to have their name, and you need to have their phone number. You need to have an email address, and you need to have a home address, and you need to connect with them on social media. Now, again, probably 8 out of 10 people who are on this call right now, you know, are typically Facebook users, and that's their platform that they're on. Now, it doesn't matter what social media you're on. It's trying to find a social media and trying to connect with people on social media, because the idea is that you're going to then market to them, and marketing is mailing them something once a month. It's calling them 4 times a year. It's trying to see them at least once a year, if not 2 times a year. And then obviously then you're going to email them 24 times a year. And then social media is 24/7. And the more that you do the other mailing, calling, seeing, the more that they're going to pay attention to your social media posts. So again, I will cover this on a different live video, but right now, just know that the things that you need in order to kind of put this into place. And then obviously we talked marketing systems. I just said that: mail, call, see, email, social media, and then the history. And again, history on what? Well, how many times have you ever sold a house with them? Have they ever bought with you? Have they ever referred you? You're going to need a good database that can keep some or track some kind of history on them. And so when you're talking with them, significant dates like birthdays, that type of stuff, you're just going to want a history, because at the end of the day, if you really look at this, if you're a doctor or a lawyer who is in the service business and they really don't have anything to sell when they go to sell their business other than a good, solid book of business, that goes the same with real estate agents. So if you're looking at this long range, whether it's to one of your kids that gets into the real estate business, or it's somebody that's within your company brokerage firm that you're at, and they see value in that, they're going to actually pay you dollars. And it could be in referral dollars, it could be in just straight up cash for a good, solid book of business that you basically have results from. So history is important. So let's jump in real quick to lead generation. And when it comes to lead generation, there's a ton of sources that you can opt into and try to find leads. Obviously, that is, if you want to know the job of real estate is lead generation. The job isn't listings. The job is not buyers. That's the reward of the job of you generating leads. Now, the most common way right now and the most popular way for people to try to get a jump start in their business is to buy leads off Zillow, Trulia. Again, those are fine, but if you know where the market is at right now, which we are in a seller's market. So what a lot of people are trying to do right now is they're trying to find a bunch of buyers for a bunch of houses that we don't have to sell. So if you want to help the problem that we're having, which is an inventory problem, then what you need to be doing is making phone calls to homeowners and seeing if they want to sell their home. That's just an idea. I would rather build a book of business and have 800 leads that I'm marketing to that have a home to sell versus 800 leads that are maybe a buyer. So again, just a thought. So when you're looking at lead sources, there's three things that are always invested. There's time invested, there's money invested, and there's energy that is invested. So when you look at this, at the top of this pyramid is sphere of influence, because you're going to spend less money generating a lead from a sphere of influence. You're going to spend less money nurturing a relationship in sphere of influence. You're going to spend the most money when you're trying to find leads that you don't know. So, and again, go ask a top producer who has a team that is offering leads on how much money it takes to actually get a lead to click on something. It's expensive. So the next one is investors. Obviously, in a really robust real estate business, you should have a group of investors, maybe 4 or 5 investors that can do cash deals. Because again, if you're lead generating and you're making phone calls to sellers and you're talking to you're always going to run into people that want to sell their house quick and not necessarily for the highest dollar. And in that situation, that could go to an investor. And I don't know, a lot of real estate agents are investors too. So you should consider maybe even investing in your trade. The next one, obviously low-hanging fruit or FSBOs and expireds. Again, separate dialogues, separate strategies on being able to get those in the market that we're in right now. Again, those are scarce. You don't have a lot of expireds because houses are selling at just about any price that they go on out there. There's lead capture system, which is kind of what I talked about. It's getting a nice website and connecting that to Google AdWords. And, you connect leads, which then get texted to you or whatever the case may be. And again, that is expensive. You're paying for a website. Boomtown, Market Leader, Real Geeks are kind of the 3 of the top ones that I know of. You pay a lot of money just for the website. You pay a lot of money to get the website set up. And then you pay a lot of money per month, paying for Google ads in order to get buyers push towards your website. And then there's open houses. Obviously, if you do open houses, right, anybody who walks through an open house is either a nosy neighbor that could be thinking about selling, or is a buyer that maybe isn't represented by somebody. So I know a lot of agents that are very successful from open houses. So, and then just listed, just sold. This is kind of on the other hand of cold calling. And the idea is that every time a house gets listed or every time a house sells on a specific street, my opinion on this is you go 20 to the left, 20 to the right, and 40 across the street. You're canvassing the area. You can do this before an open house, but also you can do this, just calling around just to say, basically, if asking people if they've ever thought about selling their house anytime now or in the near future. And then there's farming, geographical farming. Again, this is something that takes a little bit of time. But again, if you do this right, there's a lot of strategies, a lot of quarterly events that you can do to build relationships and get to know a specific area, get to know specific homeowners, and get your name top of mind within an area, and doing different types of marketing strategies. And what I'm going to probably end up doing here as the days, weeks, and months come is taking each one of these or two of these at a time and talking about it. And I'm going to probably even bring in some industry leaders that are knocking it out of the park with FSBOs, knocking it out of the park with expireds. Again, like I referenced earlier, cold calling, which are also just listed, just solds. Jared Lapelgus is knocking it out with that. So, and again, it's just almost how much money you're going to spend, how much time you're going to spend doing it, and how much energy it's going to take you to get these systems off place. So, so sphere of influence. What do we do with our sphere of influence? So this is always good. Let's see here. Let's see. So seed. So imagine a lot of you out there have an actual book of business that you're marketing to, and people that family members. And it's like, well, what do you say to them? You don't always want to be asking them for business, right? I mean, the first thing that everybody that's in your book of business, if you were with me last week, I said that an A+ is somebody that has either done business with you and or has referred you, or maybe they haven't done business with you, but they've referred you multiple times. An A is somebody who has either referred you or somebody who has done business with you. And then a B person in your database, your sphere of influence, is somebody who has said that they would refer you because you asked them. So, but one of the things you always want to be doing when you run into somebody is you want to be planting seeds. And it says it right there. It says, when you plant a referral seed, you are simply making a suggestion that you are available. So again, at mreafacebook.com, which is the Master Real Estate private page, I have these documents on there. So again, if you're not already a member of that, you can go to mreafacebook.com and become a member. But these are just examples of how you can drop a seed. Don't keep me a secret is a great one. So if you're on the phone with somebody at the end, they know you're in real estate. You've already asked them. They said that they would refer you. So or you're at a bar or you're at an event or you're somewhere and you're talking with somebody. It's just kind of tongue in cheek. Hey, don't keep me a secret. So those things are on there, which will help you with your dialogue situation. And then the next thing is the big ask, right? So I put down on here, and again, a major point is becoming comfortable asking for referrals is both an art and a science. Having only one way to ask will make it a lot easier on you because you won't have to think about what to say. And this is the magic question. So if you knew somebody that you cared about that was thinking about buying or selling in the next 90 days, would you feel comfortable introducing me? That's a yes or no question. I mean, either they do or they don't. If they say yes, you say thank you. And then you're going to go to the next step and you're going to make sure that they understand that if they sent you anybody, that you're going to take care of them like kings and queens, and you're going to take care of those relationships. But anybody that is in your sphere of influence, this question has to be asked, because then once they know you need help, that you want to help the people that they care about, then it's your job to drip on them throughout the year. And I'm going to go through a marketing plan next week that's about 62 touches throughout the year. And for the most part, the touches have nothing to do with real estate. They have everything to do with everything else and nothing to do with real estate. But anything that comes from me knowing that I'm in real estate or knowing that you're in real estate is about real estate. You could be inviting them to a movie night, but because you're in real estate and you're a real estate agent inviting them, then obviously then how can they help you, right? They can help you by, referring you or introducing you to somebody. So then the next thing is a note card. So anytime you ever have a conversation with somebody or you talk to somebody, you should not email them a thank you, not text them a thank you. Write them a handwritten note. If you've got their home address, you want to write them a handwritten note. So you need to always have a good supply of note cards and stamps so that this never becomes an issue. But when you look at this and you say, this is actually, again, it's over. I've got this all uploaded on the site, but this is just some reasons. And I think there's 2 pages to this for the note card examples. But you can, again, there's plenty of examples. And again, this is exactly what to write in a note card. So it takes the guesswork out of it. Now you can tweak it any way you want, but what I've always found, and just in my experience, I'm not creative. So I've always, either found something or whatever, and I've just tweaked it to what I like. So, and then the last thing is referring, right? So if you want referrals, and if you live by a core value of the live by the get by giving philosophy, right? So the other way to say that is if you help enough people get what they want out of life, well, heck, you're going to get what you want out of life. So with that being said, we have, whenever you do a transaction, you're going to refer especially on the buy side, you're going to refer a title company. You're going to hopefully refer a lender. You're going to refer, multiple services there. If you have a home inspection, you're going to refer multiple services to remedy some of the inspection fixes. If you go over and talk to people about listing their home, there's going to be things that they're going to need that they don't necessarily want to do. I've always been taught, do what you do best and pay everybody else to do the rest. So when it comes to anything, that doesn't matter. I don't care. I usually pay everybody else to do it, and then just try to earn referrals from them. But I believe that if you help enough people get what they want out of life, and this is what Zig Ziglar would say, if you help enough people get what they want out of life, you're going to get what you want out of life. So there's multiple opportunities for you to refer people. And then you also want to become that referral source for anybody that's in your sphere of influence. So rather than them letting their fingers do the walking in the yellow pages or Googling something, a referral is always better. And you guys know that if you don't know somebody in a specific service, you can always, go to your real estate friends locally, whether it's within the company or on Facebook or whatever the case may be, and find a service for somebody that they need. So those are some key points into building a very strong, loyal sphere of influence. So here's a shameless plug. If you happen to be earning less than you wish you were, and you are open to the idea of receiving some help and would like to learn more, you can call or text me anytime directly at 402-680-7000. So if you're one of my coaching students, I would love it if you would just get on there and start typing how great it is to be in a relationship with me. So anyhow, let's go on. So here's some tips and techniques on contacting. So I always say do it early. The earlier, the better. Not too early, obviously, but for you, it's just one of those things that nobody ever likes to do. So call early, call consistently, right? So put it into your schedule. We're going to talk about Smart Week here shortly, but you're going to want to call early. And then you're going to call with somebody. Why with somebody? Because that's a form of accountability. So if you're going to make some phone calls, you meet up with an accountability partner, do some role playing before, make your 90-minute block 5 times a week, 90-minute block, or 3 times, depending upon how busy you already are. Make your call for 90 minutes and then call your accountability buddy back and talk about your results. It just is going to make it more fun, and it's going to actually, it's more fun to go to the gym with somebody versus, going by yourself. So let's see. Number 3, don't pause between. What does that mean? Don't pause between. Well, once you get one, you schedule an appointment or you get something, don't stop. Just continue your 90 minutes and continue that grind of making those phone calls. And then this is a tough one. Call until you get one. Now I say 90 minutes, but again, it all depends on how busy you are on this one. If you're not busy and you're not doing anything, call until you get one. So that means that you call all day until somebody decides that they're thinking about selling. And then always leave a message. And the message that I've always suggested is, hi, this is Gary with XYZ Real Estate Company. I have a quick real estate matter I'd love to discuss with you. When you get an opportunity, just give me a call. I'd love to connect with you. Boom, just it. Or maybe you leave real estate matter out of it and they know that you're in real estate. So, hey, this is Gary Carpenter, and I was just calling and just wanted to connect with you. Just wanted to see when would be a good time. And I've always gotten in the habit and I should have this as a number 6 on here, but I've gotten in the habit that once I leave somebody a message on their voicemail, on their cell phone, I will text them and I will say, hey, Gary, I just left you a voicemail. Take a listen. When you get an opportunity, I want to connect. That way you've kind of double whammied it, because sometimes people won't go back and listen to voicemails. And then number 6, each call is eventually a payday. And what that means to me is that when you're connecting with people, if that's all you're focused on, so when you're calling people that are in your sphere of influence, the last thing, when you call FSBO, when you call an expired, the last thing that you should be focused on is getting a listing. Because if all you're focused on is getting a listing, that's getting something, right? And we're there to give. You give, and then just naturally you get. Sometimes you give, and sometimes you never get. But that's just part of it, right? But if you're in their habit of giving, meaning that you're in the spirit of a servant attitude, is that what can I do to help you? Whether it's through something, with your home, something that you want me to get involved in, or if it's a FSBO trying to help them get their house sold on their own, whatever it is, you're calling to try to help somebody. I believe that eventually you're going to get paid something from those phone calls. So just kind of just a thought. And so let's jump into Smart Week. And I'm just going to scroll through here just to see if anybody had any questions that I missed. Let's see here. We got, yeah, baby. What else we got? Who would ever move from Vancouver, Washington? Well, Jared Lapelgus. And me, love Florida. That must be Jared. Looks like Jared and maybe Janice are having a conversation here. Beautiful. Oh, thanks. We are amazing. Living the dream. I love selling down. Okay, so they're having a conversation. All right, perfect. I'm sitting here trying to teach people stuff, and you guys should pick up the phone and call each other. Let's see here. Gary is the best. He truly cares. Well, thanks. All right, perfect. All right, so let's talk about Smart Week. No questions yet. And let's see here. So to me, when I look at Smart Week, this was taught to me, in 2000 and maybe, no, 1999. I guess that doesn't really matter. But to me, a Smart Week is actually making a very productive schedule. Okay. So, and it always starts with, whatever, again, universally, the start of the week is Monday. It could be whatever day of the week it is for you. It doesn't matter. But let's just use Sunday night before Monday. You're sitting down with your spouse. You've got your personal schedule. You got your work schedule. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start to block out time. Okay. Because blocks of time equal a start time and an end time. Whenever you go anywhere, there's always a beginning and an end. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're starting to block out time for, number one would be scheduled appointments. So anything that's already scheduled, could be a listing appointment. It could be date night. It could be, kids activities, whatever it is. You're going to get all of that stuff scheduled in. You're going to get on the same page with your spouse on what's going on for the week. You're going to get on the same page with your kids on what's going on for the week and who's got to take who and who's going to be dropping people off and all those types of stuff. And those are all blocks of time. Okay. And the next thing you're going to block off is time off. So we're in COVID-19. Everybody's locked at home. So the thought process would be that, well, we're all, every day's time off. Well, it's not. So you need to make sure that you're scheduling in time either with the kids, the family, for yourself, going on walks, whatever it is, but you're away from work, and try to get somebody to help cover you on that. And don't schedule any appointments, work appointments on that day. And then step number 3, prospecting time, lead generation time, right? So I said 90-minute blocks, at least do it 3 days a week. If you're dead broke and don't have any business going on, it should be 5 days a week, heck, maybe even 6 days a week, because you got to get that momentum going. But you want to be consistent with lead generation. You never want to just stop it because you're too busy doing something else. If you're too busy to not lead generate, then you need to get other things, other systems put into your business so that you can free up the time to be able to lead gen. Because I'll tell you, if you don't lead gen, that faucet is eventually going to turn off. And then step number 4 is callback time. So we made voicemail for a reason, right? Voicemail is to push things off. You don't have to answer your phone every time it rings. If you're with your kids, let it go to voicemail. If you're prospecting, let it go to voicemail. Heck, if it's that important, they're going to leave you a voicemail. You can always listen to that voicemail. You can always read that text message, but you don't always have to respond to it. Okay. And then step 5 is leave flex time in between. Flex is flexibility, right? It's having that white space within your schedule. So let me show you. So some added ingredients on this is color coding and top things to do. So before you lay your head down each night, you want to write a list. I don't care how long the list is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how important the things are, but you're going to make a list of things that you want to get done that day. And then you want to choose the 5 top things. It's not that you're not going to get 10 or 12 things done, but if you only got the 5 things, if you only got the one thing, whatever it is, that you make sure that that's the thing that you get done first. Now, if that item is time sensitive, like you're going to do a price reduction and you're not going to talk to the seller until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're not going to waste the whole day and wait till 4 o'clock in the afternoon to get that most important thing done. You can get other things. But color coding, there's the color green. And again, anybody who's taken a class with me, we've talked about this, but it's using highlighters. There's a green highlighter, a yellow highlighter, a pink highlighter, and then there's obviously white space. But green is money income generating time. That's all you need to worry about on that. Yellow is everything else that is not necessarily making you money. And pink is personal time, date night, activities, time with the kids, all that type of stuff. And then, so this is a schedule, an example of a schedule that maybe doesn't work. And honestly, coaching as many people that I'm coaching right now, this is what most of your schedules look like. In reality, everything's just back to back. And actually, maybe not even back to back, but there's a lot of things that are overlapped. So you want to make a schedule look a little bit like this, where there's blocks of time where it's prospecting. Maybe you're doing a CMA, you got date night, you got events with the kids, you're scheduling your day off, those types of things. So you're looking at blocks of time, but the other thing that you're looking at here is what you don't see, right? You see that white space. So if something comes up that's urgent that you need to handle during your prospecting time, it could be urgent and it could be important, then you're not going to erase your prospecting. You're going to basically just move it to another time. So, and again, if you have any questions about how to do this and how does it compare to how you're doing a schedule right now, I'd be more than happy to schedule 30 minutes with you just to kind of talk about, what a good week should look like. But to me, when I'm coaching students, if you're productive, I'm not going to try to fix something that ain't broke, but it's when you're not productive, or it's when you're having challenges at home with the kids or the spouse, or you're feeling overwhelmed. It's because you're not taking inventory of your time. And that is something that I know that I can help you with. So anyhow, let's see what we got here. Oh, marketing systems. So that's what we're going to cover next week. So probably not all of them. I may touch on them, but I may just be, I haven't really figured out which one I'm going to do, but I'll create a promo slide that talks about exactly what the next live training class is going to be. But also too, tomorrow, I want you to tune in tomorrow where I'm going to interview. He is one of my best friends who doesn't live here. I'm actually known as the Godfather because I am the godfather of his whole family, who became Catholic years and years and years ago in Vancouver, Washington. So tune in for that, because that's you never know what's gonna come from Jared, but I do have him focused with some tips and techniques on how to build your database through cold calling and dialogues on what to say, and just even with the numbers to back it all up. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Again, if you have any questions, you want to talk about anything at all, you can reach me at 402-680-7000. You can direct message me on Facebook, or you can email me at gary@masterrealestateacademy.com. So you guys have a great Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.